I'm very excited to be joining the St Peter's Woodlands community. I have had the opportunity to spend some time with Chris Prance over the last couple of days, and so I'm aware I've got some very big shoes to fill. He has done an amazing job during his 17-year tenure. But I'm also very excited about this new season. I'm particularly excited about next Monday when I finally get to meet all of the students. But I have to say, with the staff I have met so far, I've had an incredibly warm welcome. I've been able to tour these stunning grounds and hear a lot about your St Peter's Woodlands history, which is just amazing. A particular thank you to Tammy Brabanik, the chair of the school council, who has even taken my dogs for a walk each night whilst we were in quarantine. The staff have been so welcoming and I'm really excited to be working with them. Well, it's quite an adventurous thing to do, isn't it, moving from one state to another? But it was actually extra adventurous because both myself and my husband Pete had never even been to South Australia before. And because of COVID, we were unable to come and meet everybody at the school and have a good look around before accepting the job and even buying a house here. So it's been quite the journey. We had a lot of fun though. We packed our two beautiful dogs into the car and took a 3-day journey, stopping at Nyngan and Broken Hill during those floods, and finally arriving here a couple of weeks ago on Sunday. And I have to say, the beauty of this coastal area has exceeded our expectations, and we are so excited to really explore and play tourists for a little while here. Well, we are a blended family, so Pete and I have 4 beautiful children between us. Our 21-year-old is studying medicine in Queensland at the moment. It's in her 3rd year, so well on her way to becoming a doctor. We have another 21-year-old daughter who's in her 3rd year of becoming a teacher, so we've got lots of things to talk about. My son is 20 and he's in his final year of learning to be a carpenter. And our youngest is 18 and he is learning to be a tiler. So we certainly have our hands full, but we also have 2 fur babies, and only the fur babies came with us to South Australia. We have a blue cattle dog called Bear and a big fluffy Groodle, which is a cross between a golden retriever and a poodle called Banjo. The children have been joking that it's actually children that are meant to leave home, not the parents. They're actually really excited at the prospect of coming over for lots and lots of visits. And of course, we'll be backwards and forwards, but we are building a home here. So we are very much making this our new home. And we're so excited because it, as I said before, it's exceeded our expectations with just how beautiful it is here. Well, outside of school on the weekends, you'll find me out walking in nature. I particularly love the beach, so I come from a coastal area of New South Wales, and particularly at this time of year, I'm busy watching humpback whales make their way from up in the Hervey Bay region of Queensland down to Antarctica with their young calves. And here I believe that I'm going to be able to see some southern right whales, so I'm pretty excited to get up on the cliff tops and have a look for some of those. So I really love nature. I sponsor orangutans, and just last year in December, I visited the orangutans I've been sponsoring for the last 10 years in Borneo. So I'd love to tell you a little bit more about that as we get to know one another. 3 words, that's a little tricky. I would say I'm passionate. I would say I'm enthusiastic. And I'd say I'm humorous. Now, I don't mean that I crack lots of good jokes, because I probably don't, but I do like to laugh a lot. And I think particularly when times are a little bit tough, it's good to have a sense of humour, have a laugh together, and just really reflect on how lucky we are and how much gratitude we should have for everything that we have in our lives. So I think they would be my 3 words. I'm so passionate about education because I know we're growing young people to go out into the world who are going to be the guardians of this beautiful planet that God has created. I love, love, love working with children, and I really want you to find your passion and your purpose. And I think that's a very big part of what teachers need to do to help you find out what you're really interested in and give the tools to be able to really satisfy your curiosity. I think that's a great question because we know that children really love to be hands-on inquirers, and that's why I really truly believe in the PYP philosophy. So I was thrilled to hear that you are a PYP or Primary Years Program school. But we also know that children need to have the groundings in literacy and numeracy so they have the tools in their toolkit to be really good learners. And the best way that we can teach literacy and numeracy is through explicit direct instruction. And that's the journey that I have been on with the previous school, where we were really struggling with our NAPLAN results in numeracy and literacy. In fact, several years ago we were way below state average, and now that particular school is above the average of all the schools in the area. So we know that that good old-fashioned teaching with explicit direct instruction in numeracy and literacy is so important, and then students have the tools that they need to be self-directed inquirers, learning about the world and really chasing what interests them and what makes them feel passionate. I was really excited actually when I toured your early learning facilities, because they are spaces where children can really be creative and they can really explore and they can spend some time in good old-fashioned play, because we know that it's through play that young children make sense of the world and discover new things and really begin their journey as lifelong learners. Well, I started as a classroom teacher, so I went to Macquarie University in New South Wales and did a Bachelor of Arts and Diploma of Education. What you may not know is that previous to that, I'd had quite a long career in the hospitality industry. So I'd been the Assistant General Manager of a hotel, worked on cruise ships and had all sorts of wonderful adventures. It wasn't until I had my first child that I decided that I actually wanted to be a teacher. About 10 years ago, I became particularly interested in students who were gifted. So I decided to go back to university and do my Masters in Gifted Education. And I spent a fair few years at a school working with gifted children, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I then had the opportunity to work for the Association of Independent Schools in New South Wales, and that involved visiting schools all over New South Wales, and in fact a couple of international schools, providing professional development for staff and helping executives reach their strategic goals. And that was a really exciting job. The problem with that job was I missed children, and so I was desperate to get back into schools and back into classrooms. Most recently, I was the head of junior school and the head of teaching and learning kindergarten through to, or you call it reception, through to Year 12 at St Philip's Christian College in Gosford, which is on the central coast of New South Wales. And now I have the great privilege of being your principal here at SPW. My leadership style is visible, so you can expect to see a lot of me in and around the school, in and out of the classrooms, rolling up my sleeves and getting alongside the teachers. Teaching is not an easy thing to do. We need teachers who are really passionate about it. It certainly is a calling. And so I see my job as really smoothing the path so they can do what is the core business of schools, and that is the teaching at schools. So I'm a really hands-on kind of a leader, and I'm the sort of leader who really wants to look after staff well-being so they can do what they need to do and do it well. Faith is incredibly important to me, and how you will see my faith outplay in all that I do is that I believe that I need to be a conduit to Christ's love and love people, not just in my own strength, but in Christ's strength. And so I think that you will notice that there should be a difference about me, and the difference about me is that I am a woman of faith who believes in truly loving one another in an inclusive way. And really, I would like to ensure that every child has a chance to explore their spirituality. And I would like to think that they will leave the school having a hope that is anchored in something that is strong and true and enduring, and that for me is my faith in God. Well, I think there's that saying that it takes a village, and that is certainly true, that we all need to be on the same team. We all need to be educating your children together. One of the things that really attracted me to SPW was hearing about your Monday night barbecues, and I thought how wonderful that parents would not only just drop their kids off at the school gates, but they get involved in functions and really building community together so we can encourage one another. Raising kids is tough. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's so much easier when we're doing it in partnership with one another, supporting one another, looking after one another, and really being that wraparound village that looks after these beautiful young lives. Well, the thing I'm most excited about is meeting the students. Of course, I love children and I'm really excited about that. But here's something you might not know about me. I'm very passionate about creative arts, and I believe you've just put on 2 very high calibre musicals at the end of last term, so congratulations to staff and students on all your hard work. I know what hard work that is because I myself have directed a couple of musicals at previous schools, and it's something that I'm really interested in supporting. I'm also excited to see the PYP program in action. I'm excited to see your Let's Decode program in action. And I'm really excited to be a part of the community and all the extra events and co-curricular activities that happen here on school grounds. Once again, I'm so excited to be here. I'm very much looking forward to connecting with you, getting to know the community, students, old scholars, and really understanding the beautiful, rich history of SPW.